Some betrayals don't come with warnings, only shattered trust and the weight of what could have been. Welcome back to Wives Gone Wild. Thanks for joining us today. Where are you listening from? We love hearing how far these wild stories reach. Now, imagine this. You find the love of your life. The one. Every moment with them feels effortless. And just when you're about to seal forever with a wedding ring, everything falls apart. I'm Theo, and I thought loyalty was unbreakable. I was wrong. I met Mabel just over 3 years ago, and from the very first conversation, it felt like I had known her forever. No awkward silences, no mixed signals, no second guessing. From day one, we just clicked. She laughed at my terrible jokes. I admired her passion for life, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her dreams. And before I even knew what was happening, I was falling hard. The early days of our relationship felt like something out of a movie. Spontaneous road trips to nowhere, where we'd get lost on purpose just to have more time together. Late-night conversations that stretched till sunrise, because sleep could never compare to the thrill of knowing each other more. Inside jokes that only we understood, ones that made strangers look at us like we were crazy. She wasn't just my girlfriend. She was my best friend, my safe place, my everything. Around her, I didn't have to pretend. No masks, no walls. And the best part? She chose me. Every single day. Or at least, that's what I believed. We talked about everything. Our childhoods, our fears, our deepest secrets. And our future? It was crystal clear. A home filled with love and laughter. A marriage built on trust. A life where we'd grow old together, hand in hand. I didn't just imagine a future with Mabel. I knew it was meant to be. So, when the thought of proposing crossed my mind, there was no hesitation. It wasn't a matter of if, just when and how. I wanted it to be special, something that reflected everything we had built together. So, I planned every detail. The perfect location, our spot. A quiet lakeside retreat where, years ago, we sat on a wooden dock, our feet dangling above the water, dreaming out loud about our future. That day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I took a deep breath, reached into my pocket, and got down on one knee. Mabel's eyes went wide. Her hands flew to her mouth. For a second, the world held its breath. Then tears. Happy, breathless, overwhelming tears. And a whispered yes. The moment she threw her arms around me, I felt it. The kind of happiness that fills your soul completely. This was it. Our forever. From that moment on, everything sped forward. We didn't want to wait. When you know, you know. Wedding planning became our new adventure. Color palettes, cake tastings, venue tours. Curating the perfect playlist that would have our guests dancing all night. Choosing every name on the guest list with love. We spent hours flipping through wedding catalogs, laughing over ridiculous cake designs before settling on something elegant. Mabel and I were completely in sync. It felt like we were building something that would last forever. And as the night before the wedding arrived, I stood there, looking at the life we had built, convinced nothing could ruin it. But life has a cruel way of proving you wrong. The night before my wedding was supposed to be one of the happiest nights of my life. The rehearsal dinner was everything Mabel and I had hoped for. A warm, intimate gathering of family and close friends. Laughter filled the air. Glasses clinked together in celebration. Every toast, every smile, every embrace was a reminder of how much love surrounded us. Tomorrow, everything would change. I would finally marry the woman I loved. As I sat at the head of the table, listening to my best man, Ryan, give a light-hearted speech about our years of friendship and how lucky I was to have found Mabel, I couldn't help but agree. I was lucky. I had found my person, my forever. Everything felt right. The world was exactly as it should be. But looking back, I realize now how blind I was. How easily I ignored the signs that something was off. As the night carried on, the energy slowly shifted. Guests began to leave, hugging us one by one, promising to see us at the ceremony. I stood near the entrance, shaking hands, thanking them for being part of this moment. My parents beamed with pride. Mabel's family was buzzing with excitement. But then I noticed something. Ryan was nowhere to be seen. He had been by my side all night, cracking jokes, keeping things lively. But now, as I scanned the room, I couldn't find him. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe he stepped outside for air. Maybe he was grabbing another drink. But then another realization hit me. Where was Mabel? I frowned, glancing toward the last place I had seen her. She wasn't there. Maybe she was saying goodbye to a relative. Maybe she had slipped away with some friends for a quiet moment before the big day. Still, something in my gut felt off. As the venue emptied, I felt a sudden urge to find her. To share a quiet moment, just the two of us, before the chaos of the wedding day. Excusing myself from the conversation, I started searching. Through the dimly lit corridors, past the main hall, into the smaller gathering spaces. Each room I checked was empty. I asked a few people if they had seen her. One of them casually replied, "Yeah, I saw her heading toward the backyard a little while ago." The backyard. That made sense. Maybe she had stepped outside for fresh air, to take a quiet moment for herself before the biggest day of our lives. So I followed the path leading to the backyard, the cool night breeze brushing against my face. The further I walked, the quieter everything became. The laughter and chatter from inside faded into the distance, replaced by the soft rustling of trees and the distant hum of music. I wasn't expecting anything unusual. I wasn't prepared for my entire world to collapse in a matter of seconds. At first, I only saw movement. Shadows shifting in a tucked-away corner of the yard. A hidden spot. I slowed down, squinted into the dim light. Two figures, close together. My stomach twisted. For a second, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. But then, under the soft glow of the garden lights, I saw them clearly. Mabel, pressed against the wall, wrapped in Ryan's arms. Their lips locked in a kiss so deep, so familiar, that it told me everything I needed to know. I froze. The woman I was about to marry. The man I trusted more than anyone. Everything I knew, everything I believed in, shattered in an instant. Mabel. Her name tore from my throat before I even realized I had spoken. She jolted back like she had been burned, her eyes going wide, lips parting as if she wanted to explain. But there were no words. Ryan turned away, running a hand over his face, his shoulders slumping under the weight of his own guilt. He wouldn't even look at me. For a moment, the world stopped. The air around me felt thick, suffocating, like I was trapped in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. The night had been perfect. Just minutes ago, I had been celebrating the love I thought was unbreakable. And now, I was standing here, watching the woman I was about to marry wrapped in the arms of my best friend. My mind fought to make sense of it. This had to be a mistake, a misunderstanding. But no, the truth was right in front of me. Their body language, the way they clung to each other, the way they kissed, it wasn't new. It wasn't accidental. This wasn't a lapse in judgment. This was something that had been happening long before tonight. My hands clenched into fists at my sides. A million emotions surged through me at once. Rage, betrayal, heartbreak. I had trusted them both with everything. And in return, they had destroyed me. Mabel took a shaky step forward. "Theo, please." I shook my head. I didn't want to hear it. What could she possibly say? That it didn't mean anything? That it was a mistake? That she still loved me? Nothing she said could erase what I had just seen. Ryan finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, man. Sorry." That was all he had. The man I had considered my brother. The person I had always turned to. The person I had trusted to stand beside me on the most important day of my life. And this was what he had been doing behind my back. I felt sick. Mabel reached for me, but I stepped back. I couldn't stand to be near her. The weight of the betrayal crashed down on me, so overwhelming, so all-consuming, that I could barely breathe. I needed to get out of there. The sound of my heartbeat thundered in my ears as I turned and walked away. Mabel called after me. "Theo, wait. Please, let me explain." But what was there to explain? Ryan muttered something, maybe another apology, maybe an excuse, but I didn't care. I didn't look back. I didn't stop. I pushed through the doors of the venue, past the lingering guests, past the people still laughing, still celebrating, completely unaware that my world had just collapsed. Someone, maybe my mom, maybe a friend, called my name, asked if I was okay. I didn't answer. I just kept walking. By the time I reached my car, my hands were shaking so badly that I struggled to get the keys into the ignition. My phone buzzed in my pocket again and again. Calls, messages, Mabel, Ryan, my parents, my friends. I didn't check a single one. I grabbed my phone, switched it off, and threw it onto the passenger seat. I didn't want to hear excuses. I didn't want to hear apologies. I just wanted silence. I slammed my foot on the gas, tires screeching against the pavement as I sped away, leaving behind everything I thought I knew. By the time I pulled into my driveway, my body felt numb. My hands still trembled as I turned off the engine. The world outside my windshield blurred, a haze of streetlights and shadows, but none of it felt real. I sat there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The silence inside the car was deafening, pressing in on me like a weight I couldn't shake. Then the knocking started. First soft, tentative, then louder, more urgent. I heard my mother's voice. Then my cousin's. Someone else was there too. Theo, talk to us. But I couldn't. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to put this into words, to explain what had just happened. I wasn't even sure I believed it myself. I closed my eyes, willing myself to breathe, to process, but all I saw was Mabel. Her lips on his. Her body pressed against him. The way she looked at me afterward, like she knew there was nothing she could say to undo it. Ryan's face flashed next. His silence. His shame. I had trusted them both. And they had destroyed me. My chest tightened, a sharp, suffocating pain spreading through me. I wanted to scream. To break something. To make them feel even an ounce of what I was feeling. Instead, I just sat there. The knocking outside continued. Voices pleading. I forced myself to stand, to walk to the door. My hands hesitated over the lock. Then I spoke, my voice hoarse, barely above a whisper. Go home. Silence. Then the sound of footsteps retreating. One by one, they left. When the house was finally quiet, I collapsed onto the couch, staring at the ceiling. My phone was still off. My mind raced, but my body felt heavy, drained. I didn't cry. I had nothing left in me. Morning came, and for a blissful, fleeting second, I forgot. Then reality came crashing back. I reached for my phone out of habit, but the moment I saw the screen, regret hit me like a punch to the gut. Missed calls. Dozens of messages. Mabel. Ryan. My parents. Friends. The texts blurred together. Some begging for me to talk. Others offering concern. A few from people who clearly had no idea what had happened, just sensing that something was wrong. I didn't open a single one. Because what was the point? No text, no voicemail, no carefully crafted excuse could undo what had happened. Some betrayals don't come with explanations. I sat up, staring at the blank wall in front of me. And at that moment, I knew what I had to do. There wasn't going to be a wedding. There was nothing left to salvage. The future Mabel and I had planned was gone. And I wasn't going to stand at an altar, pretending everything was fine. I grabbed my phone, opened the wedding group chat, the one where Mabel and I had spent months coordinating every last detail. I took a deep breath, typed the words, and hit send. There's no wedding. Plans are canceled. Thank you all for your support, but this is over. It was done. Next, I called my parents. The moment my mom picked up, I could hear the worry in her voice. Theo? What's wrong? Is everything okay? I swallowed hard, forcing my voice to stay calm even though I felt like I was breaking apart. There's no wedding, Mom. It's over. Silence. Then the flood of questions. What happened? Why? Are you sure? I spared them the details. They didn't need to know. Mabel betrayed me. I can't marry her. Another pause. A sharp intake of breath. My mother whispered my name, heartbreak woven into her voice. My father was the first to speak, steady and firm. Do what you need to do, son. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. I'm leaving town, I said. I need some space. Please don't worry about me. My mother started to protest, but I cut her off gently. I just need time, Mom. That's all. She sighed, defeated but understanding. And my dad? He didn't ask for details. He didn't press. He just said, just don't disappear completely. I promised I wouldn't. Then I ended the call. The pain was still there, raw and relentless, but underneath it was something new. Clarity. I wasn't going to sit here, drowning in apologies that wouldn't change a damn thing. I wasn't going to be the man who let betrayal define him. I was done. I stood up, grabbed my suitcase, and started packing. There was nothing left for me here. The honeymoon trip was already paid for. Flights booked. Reservations confirmed. Every detail planned for what was supposed to be the happiest getaway of my life. And now, it was nothing more than an escape route. I threw clothes into my suitcase without thinking, not caring what I packed. I wasn't going on a honeymoon. I was running. Away from the wedding that would never happen. Away from the endless stream of calls and messages I refused to answer. Away from the memories of Mabel and Ryan, burned into my mind like a scar I'd never erase. The drive to the airport felt surreal. Like I was watching myself from outside my body. My phone remained off. I knew people were talking. Guests who had traveled from out of town. Vendors waiting for final confirmations. Family and friends whispering about what had happened, trying to piece together the wreckage of a wedding that would never be. By now, the truth had spread. The wedding was canceled. The bride betrayed the groom. The best man was the other man. That was all they needed to know. When I arrived at the resort, the front desk staff greeted me with a warm smile. Congratulations on your honeymoon. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. I cut them off. Just me. Their smile faltered for a second, but they recovered quickly, handing me the key to my suite. I forced a nod and took the elevator up. The moment I stepped inside, my stomach twisted. Rose petals on the bed. A bottle of champagne on ice. Candles arranged neatly on the table, waiting to be lit. All reminders of what this trip was supposed to be. What my life was supposed to be. I stared at it for a long moment before reaching out and brushing the petals off the bed with a single sweep of my hand. They fluttered to the floor in silence. I popped the cork on the champagne and poured myself a glass, letting the bubbles fizz over the rim. I wasn't celebrating. I was numbing. The next few days passed in a blur. I barely left the room. The resort was paradise. Pristine beaches, crystal clear water, everything designed to make couples feel like they were in their own perfect world. But I wasn't a couple. I was just a man sitting alone on a balcony, staring at the ocean, wondering how everything had gone so wrong. I had given Mabel everything. My trust, my loyalty, my future, and she had thrown it all away. I don't know if I'll ever believe in love again. I don't know if I'll ever trust another person. Because if the people I trusted most could betray me like this, then what's stopping anyone else? I ran through every moment, every memory, trying to find the signs I had missed. Had she always been lying? Had Ryan always been waiting for his chance? Or had this happened gradually, behind my back, while I was too blind to see it? I would never know. And maybe that was the worst part. Not the betrayal itself, but the unanswered questions that would haunt me long after the pain faded. The waves crashed against the shore below, steady and unrelenting. For the first time in days, I let myself feel it. The heartbreak, the rage, the loss. I didn't cry. I had already shed all the tears I could. Now, there was just emptiness. A hollow space where love used to be. And maybe, just maybe, it would stay that way forever. And that's our story for today. What would you have done in my place? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild stories. Until next time.